What's my favorite Sasuke Itachi moment in Naruto? Yeah, it's a toss-up between that first time I pin him up against the wall and tell him he doesn't have enough hate, and the final moment when I sort of save him and give him power and whatnot. I mean, we knew that day was coming, and so we made sure to get it just right, because that was very important. Because, yeah, that's sort of Itachi's whole modus operandi, his whole reason for being, his whole reason for being is to help his brother. So he finally gets to sort of reveal that to his brother. I think that's a nice sort of opening and closing of that. You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
First, I say big fan.
Thank you.
My question is, in the disappearance of Harvey Suzumiya, what were your feelings on when Kyon pretty much breaks Yuki's heart by giving her back the club application? How were your feelings on voice acting?
How are my feelings on voice acting? For those who may not know, this is the movie from the series The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. The movie version is called The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, and in it the premise is that Haruhi has somehow disappeared. And because she has disappeared, the entire world is different. And one of the characters, Yuki, who had been very meek and mild-mannered and sort of almost emotionless, now has emotions. She's shy, she's sort of crushing on my character Kyon, and Kyon has a decision to make. It turns out he has the ability to avert the world back to the way it was, or to stay in this new world where everything is normal. So, will he go back to the world where everything is crazy, or will he stay in this world where everything is normal? And it's sort of his Hamlet moment. You know, he gets a sort of big to be or not to be speech. And again, that was very stressful. Because from an actor's position, it's very stressful because I wanted that moment to have a lot of resonance. Because at one point, Kyon is talking to himself. Another version of himself comes out and starts yelling at him. And I wanted to make sure that the version of him that was yelling at him and the version that was being yelled at talked in very different voices. But I can't have one talk for left, you know? You're despicable, Kyon. You know, like it's not gonna work. So it's a very delicate acting moment. And especially because he has a lot of sympathy for Yuki, and he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. So that was a very delicate moment. That was another one where I went in and started rewriting a bunch of my lines to get it just so, because that moment was so important to me. And in fact, I think someone has isolated that moment and put it up on YouTube, and called it like Kyon's Epiphany or something. And I'm quite proud of the work we did on that. But yeah, I feel bad for Yuki because as a person, Crispin Freeman finds Yuki the most interesting character. Crispin Freeman would never date Haruhi. Kyon would date Haruhi, but Crispin Freeman would never date Haruhi. So Crispin Freeman would date Yuki. And so I sort of go, oh, Yuki. Okay, gotta play Kyon and break it apart. Okay, here we go. You're welcome. Hello? I'm sorry, you're speaking so quickly I can't understand you, so forgive me.
I get that a lot. I'm Hispanic, so it's normal.
Okay, but I won't be able to hear your question if you can't slow down. So.
My question is, who are your favorite voice actors to work with?
Who are my favorite voice actors to work with? Well, ironically, as a voice actor, I don't work with many voice actors because if we're working on video games and Japanese animation, we all record separately. So I don't work with many voice actors. The only time I work with a voice actor in the moment is when I'm doing an American animated show, because then we record sort of radio play style, and all of us are in the room together. But even then, sometimes we're not all in the room together. Like when I was working on Young Justice, in the second season, I played Red Arrow, and Alan Tudyk from Firefly and other fame plays Green Arrow. And so in the second season, there's a big episode where it's all Green Arrow and Red Arrow, and they're working out the relationship. And Alan was busy that day and couldn't make it, and so I recorded my entire part as Red Arrow separately without Alan there, and I had to record Alan differently. So sometimes it's quite a lot of fun. In Spectacular Spider-Man, we had all the villains together in one episode. And it was great, because it was like me and Clancy Brown and Jeff Lynne Bennett and Peter McNichol and Steve Bloom, and we're all like in the room together playing the villains, the Sinister Six, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it can be a lot of fun playing off of people. But voice acting can be a very isolating lifestyle because you're recording by yourself in a padded room with a microphone in your face. So your microphone becomes your best friend. Or the director, yeah. I mean, honestly, I work more with voice actors when I'm directing, right? Then I actually get to work with voice actors because I'm directing the voice actors. But when I'm acting, I very limited to work with voice actors.
Hello there.
Hello.
Yeah, how did you get into character whenever you did the voice for Roy Harper and C-Ray Olsen?
How do I get into character? Well, there's two aspects. One is physically, I need to make sure that my instrument is warmed up, that my voice is ready to go, that my breath control is working well. Especially when I'm playing a character like Sume, who has a lower pitched voice, I have to make sure that all of my low resonators are working, and all that good stuff. But then, and I do that in the car while I'm driving to my session. I have a little warm-up routine that I do. But then when I get there, getting in character is about understanding what's going on in the scenes, in the moment, and understanding what the psychological agenda of that character is, sort of what makes them tick. And when I understand the psychological agenda of the character, and I understand what's going on in the situation, then I play pretend in that situation, and the voice that comes out is usually appropriate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.